Hello, and welcome to Lorekeeper Sanctum. I am your Lorekeeper, and today we are back in Thedas to continue my series on the Evaneris of Dragon Age. The topic of today's video is Sylaise, the Hearthkeeper, goddess of all the domestic arts, whose name is invoked by the Dalish to spare the sick and to watch over their innocence, as well as during marriage ceremonies. Sylaise is one of the Evaneris, the so-called gods of the ancient elves, who had enslaved the elven people and branded them with their valisleen, and are worshipped by the Dalish, who have been largely unaware of the dark truth behind their gods. Dalish legends suggest that it was Sylaise who gave them fire, and taught them to heal with herbs and magic, who taught them how to deliver their young into this world, and taught them to make threads and ropes. She is considered to be either the daughter of Elgar'nan and Mythal, or of the Earth, and sister to Andruil, as well as either the brother or husband to Juné. Personally, I think that the Evaneris are basically the Targaryens of Thedas, and there's no reason why they couldn't be both siblings and married. From a codex entry found in Dragon Age Origins, as well as Inquisition. Sylaise, the Hearthkeeper. Sylaise the Hearthkeeper is seen as the sister of Andruil the Huntress. While Andruil loved to run with the creatures of the wild, Sylaise preferred to stay by her home tree, occupying herself with gentle arts and song. It is Sylaise who gave us fire and taught us how to use it. It is Sylaise who showed us how to heal with herbs and magic, and how to ease the passage of infants into this world. And again, it is Sylaise who showed us how to spin the fibers of plants into thread and rope. We owe much to Sylaise, and that is why we sing to her when we kindle the fires and when we put them out. That is why we sprinkle our Aravels with Sylaise's fragrant tree moss and ask that she protect them and all within, as told by Gisharel, keeper of the Ralafaran clan of the Dalish Elves. Keeper Gisharel's work seems to be the leading source of modern propaganda for the Evaneris, and while it's highly unlikely that he knew the truth, his tales are going to be a major cause of a lot of confusion, disappointment, and pain for the Dalish Elves when they learn the truth about their so-called gods.
The Dalish are going to shit themselves.
In Dragon Age 2, we are presented with Sylaise's path, Vir Atishan, the Way of Peace. There is never a shortage of hunters. The Vir Tanadal, the Way of Three Trees, has lured many to Andruil's side. The Vir Atishan, the Way of Peace, is a harder path to tread, and few are called to hear Sylaise's wisdom. Those who hear that call learn the arts of the healer and the mender, as told by Gisharel, keeper of the Ralafaran clan of the Dalish Elves. The lack of information regarding Sylaise leaves me with many questions, as the Path of Peace doesn't sound malevolent, but as we know that the records coming from Keeper Gisharel tend to be Evanerian propaganda, it's unclear what to think about what the truth behind Sylaise might really be. There is a shrine to Sylaise in the Exalted Plains in Dragon Age Inquisition, with a brazier of flames at its center. While researching Sylaise, I couldn't help but find myself thinking that there seemed to be some connections between Sylaise and the rituals of Andrastians. Specifically, I wonder if this might be the origins of the concept of the ever-burning flames we find in chantries, flames that they never permit to extinguish. We are given the following codex entry during our exploration of the Temple of Mythal in Dragon Age Inquisition. Song to Sylaise. Sylaise, whose heat rivals Elgar'nan's light. Sylaise, whose temples rival Mythal's cities. Sylaise, whose breath rivals Andruil's spear. Sylaise, whose skill rivals Juné's craft. Sylaise, whose fire cannot be quenched. We give ourselves gladly to your service. Song to Sylaise, found in the Temple of Mythal. Author unknown. While we do not have a lot of information regarding Sylaise at this time, it's clear from the codex entries that she was still significant in Elvenon, that her power, skill, and status were enough to rival any of the other Evaneris. In the Shattered Library during the Trespasser DLC in Dragon Age Inquisition, we learn of the Sonalium, which seems to be a temple palace made by Sylaise as a gift to Juné. Vir Dirthara, Raising the Sonalium. The pages of this book, Memory, describe a heated argument between a group of well-dressed elves inside an elaborately arched pavilion on an island floating in a void. In the distance, haloed by a blizzard of light, thousands of elves are maintaining an elaborate magical ritual that pulls raw essence from the Fade, funneled into a sphere in the air. Through the lens of the sphere can be seen a world of indigo waterfalls and rust-red jungles, and a temple palace so frescoed and cleverly carved it is a masterpiece in itself. The well-dressed elves shouting grows so loud it can be heard over the magic. One leaps at another, howling and pulling out a knife burning with prismatic flame. Architects of the Grand Sonalium, a gift from blessed Sylaise to clever Juné, as thanks for a great favor, in friendly debate over the color of the palace's roof trim. Well, of course, this could be something that was only possible before the veil separated Thedas from the Fade. This entry makes me think of the Titan we find in the Descent DLC in Dragon Age Inquisition, with floating islands, raw magic being channeled into a sphere in the air that depicts waterfalls and jungles. It's interesting that it is said to be contained in a void, which might provide us with a clue towards the darker nature that we might find here, knowing that the void is associated with the origins of the Blight. I don't think the choice of wording is accidental. The sphere in the air sounds a bit like the depictions we see of Titan's hearts, something we know the Evanirs were using in their lust for power. If you've watched any of my videos on the Evanirs so far, you may have heard my speculations about the connection between the Evanirs and the Old Gods. For Sylaise, I believe the best fit for an Old God pairing would be with Urthemiel, Dragon of Beauty. While Thoth might seem more likely because of the association with fire, I think Urthemiel makes a better fit because the High Priest of Urthemiel was the architect of works of beauty, and Sylaise was known for crafting things more of a beautiful or artistic nature, such as the Sonalium, where her counterpart has a reputation for things of a more practical nature. Of course, I don't claim to have this all figured out, it's just my speculations about it. And that's all I have for today on Sylaise, the Hearthkeeper. Thank you for stopping by Lorekeeper Sanctum. I'm your Lorekeeper. I hope that you learned something new, and I hope you will come back soon. If you like this content, or found it useful, please like and subscribe. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Until next time, friends and fellow fans of fantasy.